All right, welcome into the Cyclone Fanatic halftime show. 20-7, Iowa State leads Kansas. I got Chris Williams, Bret Meyer, former Iowa State quarterback, here with me. Let a few of you guys sign on here as you're watching the end of the half. We want to quickly thank our sponsors for the halftime show. Fairway Meat and Grocery. I know the holiday season is coming up, guys. It's the end of the month. November is right around the corner. So stock up on all your holiday groceries, your meat, whatever you need. Centurion Stone, a longtime sponsor of Cyclone Fanatic. Find them at centurionstoneofiowa.com. And, of course, Nebraska Furniture Mart out in Clive. Guys, to me, it seemed like a tale of two quarters. Iowa State led 13-0 in the first quarter, seemed to be rolling, seemed like it was going to be kind of a rout of Kansas. And things quickly turned. Kansas went right down, scored a touchdown after Iowa State had a pretty dismal punt. I think it was a 14-yard punt. But, Chris, what were your initial thoughts of the first half?
I think Iowa State obviously came out really well. And I'll give Kansas a little bit of credit. I thought that they made some adjustments specifically defensively. And I want to ask Bret about this. Bret, what I kind of saw was I thought Kansas adjusted well to some of the same problems Iowa State was having a week ago as far as some of those young offensive linemen. And the pass protection really broke down for Iowa State, I thought, in the second quarter. We can get to the defense in a minute. But, yeah, I mean, that to me is I think a little bit of a concern going forward with this team and leaves me a little bit underwhelmed. What are you seeing right now that make Brock Purdy started off like 9 for 9 and now he's 16 for 21, but that second quarter he was kind of running for his life there. What did you see as far as adjustment wise with Kansas?
Yeah, I think they just started to bring more pressure, which this is back when I played, and it's not going to change. I mean, teams watch film, and if it's because of injury, you have backups in the game, or you have young players on the field, especially up front, they're going to basically just copy what other teams do when it comes to pressure, and you're seeing Kansas do that. Just trying to bring more pressure and making Brock uncomfortable. And I know we had, I think it might have been like a third down going in to score on our last possession, and I think it was Sean Shaw or Skates caught it, and they won a one-on-one. Press man covered, turned the DB all the way around, had like 6 or 7 yards of space, and Brock hit his back foot and made the throw. That's what we have to do.
Mm-hmm.
When team pressure, you're going to have to win those one-on-one matchups. And it doesn't matter if you're playing Kansas or playing OU or playing, the best secondary in the country. Like, you have to be able to win those matchups, and we have at times. But, yeah, we're going to continue to see pressure. We're going to continue to see defensive looks that we've struggled against in the past. So we're going to have to eventually get it figured out, or when we get against a better team, or even today, it's going to cost us.
Well, when the offense was looking well, I mean, the first two drives, you go 6 plays. Kenny Nwangu caps it off with a touchdown, and then the next drive was 3 plays when Breece Hall kind of drove down there on a big run, and Brock ended up capping it off with a touchdown. Obviously, Connor Sally misses that extra point. That's kind of been a talk among Cyclone fans these last couple of weeks, as his struggles, but nails a couple there later on in the half. But when the offense was going well, I mean, they were hitting Landon Akers, looked really well in that first half. They were getting quite a few guys involved on the offensive side, Chris.
Yeah, they were trying to do that. I mean, last week, one of the most glaring stats from that game last week to me was Hutchinson was the only wide receiver who even had a target in that football game until the last series of the Oklahoma State game. And I thought you saw, I mean, I'm putting myself in their coaching shoes right now. I think they made a very clear effort to get a lot of guys involved here early, and they were trying some things. You mentioned Akers. I think that they went like 4 or 5 plays without Breece Hall having a rush. So they were doing that early, and it was working well. I don't think we should overreact. They're still up by 13. They've almost doubled Kansas up in yardage. Now, I will say on the other side, Bret, and I think I'm not concerned here yet either, because the defense was fine. The defense absolutely played well enough to win last week. But one thing, too, I think we are seeing, and I thought this was kind of the case from last year, Bret, is that if this defense doesn't get pressure with 3, it completely changes everything. And that was what I saw in the second quarter. Really, the difference defensively with Iowa State, they weren't getting pressure with 3 anymore, and you saw a quarterback get a little comfortable and make some moves. My guess, because we see it all the time, John Haycock, and we started to see it at the end of the second quarter, is going to start to bring pressure. It's a constant feeling out thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That was, to me, like I guess I was more concerned about Kansas moving the ball on Iowa State's defense in the second quarter than I was the offense stalling out a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, everybody runs a spread and tries to utilize the width of the field. And when you're running the defense that we run, that you've seen a lot of other teams in the country, we've had a lot of success with it. There's going to be downsides. And, if if your rush is not clicking, you're not getting pressure with 3, it doesn't matter who you're playing. They're going to be able to complete passes. Jalen Daniels is a pretty good player. You can spin it. He had some nice passes into the wind and with the wind. So he's a good player. But yeah, you saw that late in the second, on that last or second to last drive. We brought pressure and just overwhelmed them, and we got an easy sack. And we're just going to I imagine you'll see more of that in the second half because, Kansas is not going to be able to run the ball consistently against us. So they're going to be in a lot of second and third and longs, and we're going to have to bring pressure and get off the field. And I think you'll see that.
Chris, I thought Jay Jordan summed it up in a nice tweet. He says, KU getting a foothold. I struggle to see a reason ISU should stray from running the ball on offense. Adversity was self-imposed. The opportunity to regroup and put the hammer down is something I would like to see taken advantage of. I think you kind of nailed it there.
Yeah.
A lot of those things were self-imposed. I think you kind of nailed it, Chris. They were letting KU's quarterback. They were letting him. They were challenging him deep. They wanted him to throw it. And then I think once they started putting a little bit of pressure on, you saw Bailey with the sack there. I think you'll see more of that coming up in the second half. But what are your keys to the second half here?
Well, Brees Hall's averaging 7.4 yards per carry. So, I mean, Jay's right. They can run the football on this team. Mm-hmm. I don't think you have to go one-dimensional here. I mean, Brock Purdy's 16 for 21 with 145 yards. Let's not – they're up by 13 points. Kansas's guys have scholarships too. I know they're not very good. But I want to see the third and fourth quarters play out here before I make a big judgment on this game. But, the one thing too, Brett, and I wanted to pick your brain on it, it does seem like, and this was especially the case last week, and I feel like it's carried over, Brees, in just the running game in general, just seems like it's really struggling in between the tackles right now. Is that is that an offensive line thing? Is that the scheme? What are you seeing? Because it seems like even today on some of those bigger runs, they really got Sainer involved, the tight ends and the run blocking. I thought that was a great adjustment from last week to this week. You came out and saw Manning deliberately trying to get the tight ends involved in the run game. You expect to see more of that? And how do you analyze the run game right now?
Yeah, I think we are. We're just better when we run outside, outside zones. I think we got some tight ends, especially Dylan, that are really effective, in blocking and just aren't guys that go catch the ball. So, yeah, I think, our tackles are probably a little bit better than we are inside right now at this point. And, it's something we got to get better at because you want to be able to be multidimensional in the run game. But, yeah, I definitely think we're more effective on the outside. But there could be a matchup, too. I mean, last week, Oklahoma State they got NFL guys, at all 3 levels. And Kansas, just, like you said, they're scholarship guys. They're playing a lot of young guys, but they're, this is game number 6. They're going to get better. And just because they're Kansas doesn't mean they couldn't have some good D tackles that can play. So
they do. The one thing about Kansas, and I'll in their defense, and this is why they were so bad early. I mean, Brett, this reminds me a little bit of the Dan McCarney team in 2003. The Kansas, I don't know how much. I know you were watching. You weren't on that team. But they had so many young guys with Brant, Hicks, Flynn, who were all playing as freshmen. That's what Les Miles done. In the offseason, Les Miles made a decision. He could have got JUCOs, taken some more transfers. He went the freshman route. And you're seeing a lot of these guys from Kansas who really got beat up early in the season. Maybe they're starting to play a little better. I don't know. The one D tackle made a really nice play, although I think that was a coverage sack. But, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. I think Iowa State wears them down and still wins this game by 30 points or so. And I think that this halftime show might be a little bit ridiculous at the end of it. But I think Haycock makes a ton of adjustments, and this quarterback has a really long second half. Brett, what do you think happens?
I agree. I mean, I'll start by saying, look, win. We want to be 4-2 after today. I do not care if we win by 1, we win by 30, win the game. Okay, but to your point, I agree. I think we utilize Brees Hall, outside run game, play actions, get some easy completions, and then defensively just suffocate him. Continue to stifle the run game and timely with our pressure. And, maybe we make some adjustments and we're able to, whether it's personnel wise or whatever the case may be, get pressure with 3. But again, yeah, we have enough. We've seen enough from him to know that we're going to make the proper adjustments. And I don't see this. I see this being, one of like a 37-10 or, I think we win comfortably, but if we don't win comfortably, just get the win. Be 4-2. That's all I care about.
I think Iowa State's defense is too good to let this game get away. Now, I mean, they're up 20-7 at the half, but I think there's too many weapons on offense. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more in the second half.
You can tell that Bret treats it like a player and a coach.
Yeah.
Just win.
And I want 50. I want 50 on the board. I don't care. I want 50.
Enough of these games, man, where it's like, you're better than the other team. Like, we lost to Baylor. I think we gave them their first Big 12 road win, like in 2005. It was just like, we are so much better than them. And you start pressing and worrying about, hey, we're not winning by 20. Just win the game.
Hey, speaking of just win, are you guys checking out some of the scores from college football? West Virginia's up on Kansas State at the half, 24-10.
Look at BC, right?
Clemson is down to BC, 28-13 at half too. So there's some interesting scores.
We got full moon. It's Halloween.
That's right. Happy Halloween.
The thing is on Clemson though, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I don't think it really matters.
No, they can lose this game, and the playoff committee or whoever, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
they're going to give them every, and they've earned it, but they're going to get every every excuse in the world. Like,
how could you realistically watch Trevor Lawrence and Clemson play, and then if they lose this game without him, be like, at the end of the year, they're not one of the best 4 teams in the country? Like, yeah, they are.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty clear gap between Alabama, Clemson, probably Ohio State, and then everybody else.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, Bret, thanks for your time. Matt, you're the man. Thanks for
Appreciate
hosting,
you guys. All right, want to thank our sponsors again, Fairway Meat and Grocery, Centurion Stone, and Nebraska Furniture Mart. Enjoy the second half, everyone. Jared Stansberry and Rob Gray will be live after the game with the reaction a couple hours after the game. Chris, you'll have your instant reaction podcast, correct?
Yep. That'll be up on the podcast network. Absolutely.
Full coverage at CycloneFanatic.com. Thanks, everyone, tuning in, and go Cyclones.